bitmap graphic mouse-driven computing. This is a file-aware disk from the famous Twiggy. There's the Twiggy drives. All the people in service engineering, when Steve switched over to the 3.5-inch drive, just ripped their faceplates off, tossed them, put the new drives in, and so all those wonderful faceplate with Lisa on them are gone, pretty much. You got a couple other oddballs here. This all came from, thank you, Apple Computer Corporation. The Apple IIc development unit. This is the prototype. This is a functional development unit of the Macintosh Portable with the engineering plastics. This is just the last of the PowerBook 100 just before production, and this is in the film 2010, Kubrick's after 2001. This is the computer of 2010 that was filmed in that where Haywood Floyd's on the beach in Hawaii typing away on the laptop of 2010. This is what was used, and you can see how it's all bleached from the sun. And of course, this screen, they don't show you in the film the brick-sized power supply.
Is that the actual computer or the same model?
Computer, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And of course, Haywood wouldn't have been able to see anything on the screen. It's very faint. But this is actually kind of one of the first computers with an LCD. This is actually a projection LCD from Apple. The subject of a large patent battle now between Samsung and somebody else. Not like you can see the interesting things. The idea in the Macintosh architecture, as Daniel's explained to me, was when you had the Apple II, you had an openness to it, but you had a problem with all the boards and add-ons for the Apple II. If I could open the case, I would show you. This is actually Wozniak's last computer designed for Apple, the Apple II GS. And of course it has lots of slots and whatever. But one of the challenges any company has is you have lots of boards and lots of people making software. It's a huge support nightmare. Of course, Microsoft found this with Windows and drivers and stuff. And so to make the insanely great machine, what you try to do is close it up and say, you know what, we're only going to let people can't add stuff, they can't open the box. So to open the box of an early Mac, you need this proprietary screwdriver and the Mac cracker to crack the case open. Because if any of you tried to open these up, you really kind of gummy up the case with a screwdriver. So the Mac cracker. And so Daniel, who's standing in the back, his name is in one of the signatures in there. And this is a hat from Daniel that would have been worn by the original Macintosh team. All of them? Where's the plow? And of course we've got, you know, the original brochure that Newsweek printed in December '83, and here we have Bill Gates and Fred Gibbons and Mitch Kapor up into a huge thing is now in the new microcomputer gallery in Albuquerque. This little piece there, a couple things from this have happened. Next, just to keep us going, this is the famous Bell and Howell Darth Vader Apple II, painted black so that school AV departments could sneak them in under the radar as AV equipment. And buy them with AV budgets. And then we have here a couple of oddball Macs. This is the Dynamac. Actually, this is the first portable Macintosh that really worked. And it had a plasma screen. It was much better than this product, but it wasn't made by Apple. And this is actually an Apple purchased one. And Apple would go around with these machines to do service calls, and the customers would go, "We want one of those!" And then if you worked for in a battleship, in a Navy destroyer, you might have seen some of these. These are Tempest Macs. They're meant for use in secret environments, secure environments. And this keyboard has has sheets of copper under it. And a Tempest expert came to visit us once. He said, "Oh, I inspected these. This is a $600 connector, a $100 cable, and see how they're frayed and it doesn't work? That's your government at work. Those two contractors are not working together, and this whole system is compromised." little old ensigns doodling cards, get-well cards for their kid. You know, they could have given away the secrets of the Cold War. You know, using Mac Paint here. So the whole idea of a Macintosh in Black Ops seems kind of strange. The Macintosh TV, Matt Groening School of Health posters were shipped with this. It was sold very briefly on colleges, campuses, which he designed after he left Apple. And the original Raskin information appliance, which is another project from Raskin. And what is in the house, which I may run and get, is Daniel Kotke in early 1980 grabbed one of a dozen little small CRTs that Jeff had been using for the Macintosh project from '79 and put it into a document briefcase, wired a keyboard, a music keyboard to it, put an Apple II board in it, floppy drive, an interface board, and a joystick, and created
portable synthesizer, weird sound creation machine.
So, which I always show off because you open this up and you put floppies in, and if you'd recorded it, we got to get this working again. You could play music back because you could actually compose music, and you have to plug it in, of course. But I say to people, this is the ancestor of the iPod. At least at Apple. You know, and that's about it. And you still hear the term workstation, but really, there was a separate class of big, beefy, $10,000 plus machines, sometimes $5,000, that were called workstations. And really, the sort of uber workstation is this one here, the Xerox Alto, made by Xerox starting in about 1973. And this particular Alto is a 256K Alto 2XM, and it's got the original Alto mouse, which has the ball pick up under the fingertip, so you associate your fingertip with a cursor, which is a mistake made later by many other mouse manufacturers. The Corda key set to do cut, copy, to do almost things you do in the keyboard now, selecting things, and Ethernet interface, and a removable 3 megabit. Actually, that probably is, yeah. And then this is the removable 2.5 meg disk pack, and it was connected to the Ethernet via something like this.
Oh.
ThickNet. This is actually Dave Boggs' drop to his Dorado. Dave Boggs is the co-holder of the patent on Ethernet. This is from Park. And this machine is the machine that really birthed the revolution that came after the home brewing. I.e., before there was a homebrew club, there were people sitting at Park running a modern machine. We're doing email, looking in the ARPANET, composing documents,